will be back in some form.
We have an army of digital soldiers because this was an insurgency.
Hundreds dead, thousands infected across multiple continents.
You guys know what this represents?
All the people that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist, you're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs, you are.
Hey there, welcome to the Patriot Party News. Usually I'm used to saying something else on that, but so glad everyone's here. I would really appreciate it and urge you if you think that the content on here will be worth sending to a friend or a neighbor or a family member to get word out. We've got two great folks that are, they join me on Fridays, Oathkeeper Bill and Edward Torres, and a lot of information should be coming out, and information that we feel like we've vetted well, and we'd love to see you come hang out with us at join.patriotshoot.com. So anytime you can, it's where we get the best information out. We get your information, we put them all together, and it's kind of like our form of Facebook that has really worked well. So I'm gonna bring on Oathkeeper Bill and Mr. Edward Torres. Can I hear both of you? Let's see how your microphones are doing.
5x5 here.
5x5.
All right. Hey, nice to see y'all. We're gonna make this.
Here.
We got a little group going on here. I like this Friday night thing. Tonight, I'd love to, all of us, whether we're in this operation, whether we're talking about it all the time, or whether any way that anybody is in it, we're thinking about it every day. We're thinking about, wow, what can I tell somebody about? So y'all two are on this show. I'd love for one of you to start out with what maybe came up today that you said we put some puzzle pieces together, what you think is happening in a certain part of the universe, or just your top things that are on your mind, and take your time. And Oathkeeper Bill, if you don't start, go ahead.
Well, I think there's a lot of folks that are just on edge, a lot of people that have been paying attention as time goes on, or even just people thinking, what is going on? What is happening right now? And we were talking on Talk Time, and I really like the way that Ed explained things as well, and he'll get in more depth with it than I can due to his experiences. But I am comfortable. I am very comfortable. The sheriff and others that I communicate within my local community that we have built a rapport with are comfortable. I was saying something in respect to what one of our sheriffs were mentioning to me in respect to just a normal investigation, how it takes time to build. And not only are we talking our nation, we're talking worldly here, world situations that all have to kind of catalyst together and then open that door, if you will, however they're going to do it. So we're feeling really good. We're eager. We're like right on that line of we're ready, but also the anticipation. So just want to let that be known. We're ready.
Rocking and rolling. What about you, Edward? Anything that you just think is big time that you'd like to talk about or share that information about?
One of the things that the ladies were talking about in chat was about that little 5-year-old that is all over the news saying that the ICE detained detained the kid, a 5-year-old, which is not true. That the child was with his father. When the father saw ICE, he just stopped the car, left the kid, and ran off.
Wow.
The other sickening part of it, and I've seen this a lot during the Obama time, when the agents with this 5-year-old went to the house, they wouldn't take him. They wouldn't open the door because they were scared that the agents were going to arrest them. Maybe not, but they didn't accept the kid. Well, during the Obama years, when we had the influx of unaccompanied children, we saw the same thing happen. The children would come with a tattoo, piece of paper, written in permanent ink on their hands, phone number. And they would tell us, this is the phone number of my aunt, my uncle, my mom, my dad, whatever the case may be. So part of the process was that we had to contact a family member to take control, to take care of the kid. Correct? So I would be sitting at my desk and the officers would come to use the phone, because we had to use the phone that was on my desk to make those calls. And the officer would identify himself and tell him, says, we have such and such here. We need an address to be able to send the child to your location for your custody. Or do you have somebody who could come and pick them up here or wherever, at the detention center, at the one of the what do you call it? The houses that were taking care of children here in El Paso? There were 3 of them. And they would say, I don't know that child. And they were on speaker, because we had to have more than one person hearing the conversation, because one is a witness to the other. And I don't know that child. I don't know who you're talking about. Don't call me again. Click. And that was the end of it. Now, we felt bad because somebody is denying knowledge about this child. Just imagine how that child felt when he was told that he was going to go to his aunt or his uncle, to a family member, and they denied his presence. I don't know that kid. So we had to take other methods, that other procedures for taking care of that child. But put yourself in the little kid's shoes. Your mama, they're knocking on the door here. You live there, and your mother's denying. No, I don't know that child, and won't open the door to let you in. We saw a lot of it, and it's saddening. During that period of time, the administration knew 6 months prior, before the influx of all these children, unaccompanied minors, they knew it 6 months beforehand and didn't get ready for it. Didn't notify anybody through the chain of command to get ready. This is coming. So, do I understand how that kid felt? Yes, because I'm an adult, and I felt the same way he did when they said, no, I don't know him. You got the wrong number.
Yeah, that's the child's.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's remembering that for a lifetime.
Yes.
And that was during the Obama time frame when most of that occurred, and it was never publicized. It was never brought forward. It was never. There was no protesters out or anything in respect to that. That is textbook color revolution. with what we're going through right now. It is a tool that has been used through the mainstream media to get a collection of these people, not to mention the fraud through like the George Soros foundations, through USAID, that pay these protesters to do what they're doing right now. And it's crazy. And it's gonna come out. It's coming out, if you will. But what a difference. What a huge difference.
Amen. Amen. Do you see Damon said hello, Bill? So Mandy put a thing on there that said Damon said hello. So what's up,
you tell my Iraqi buddy Damon I said hello. He got me good on the phone one day. Oh my God.
That's good. So everybody knows we are in a multi-dimensional struggle right now. We have been for a long time against a globalist new world order and a domestic deep state. All right. Recent global events in Venezuela, in Iran, in Mexico are all interconnected, and they are part of a strategy that the globalists have put on us against the Trump administration to dismantle things. Now, in turn, Trump is doing the same thing. He is dismantling during an operation this illicit system by targeting the financial backbone of the globalists. We are in the middle of fifth generation warfare, and that involves not just geopolitical maneuvers, but also information war against mainstream media, against us, against you in your everyday life. And you can't necessarily see it, but if you take the time, maybe read about it for 5 minutes, you will be able to understand how they have been so good at it. When you control the airwaves, when you control what goes in as far as a commercial or anything like that, they are able to put psychological warfare, fifth generation warfare on you, and you don't even know it. There is a big importance for everyone to use critical thinking when you're involved in this. I'm not saying walk around freaking half-cocked and I mean whatever, but knowing what's happening and understanding how it's happening and why it's happening and what their goal is and what our goal is needed. And it's also very important and critical for public support for the president's actions, to be behind him and own a team that fights for him day in and day out, who keeps the team going, who loves one another, who are like-minded and understand what happens during fifth generation warfare. Yes, we are not in the trenches, but we are at war. Critical thinking. We need to be exposing the best we can to those that don't know. So let's say we need the older ones to mentor the Gen Z. We need those to mentor the older ones. It's okay, if they don't know how to use the computer. Let's get them involved. Make a team, be attentive to the team. It's for the team. It's for our future. If you can't do that, do it for your children. This is a deliberate effort that is underway to upend the globalist, and we've got a plan. You might not know that plan, but it's very, very easy to get involved. How would you start that? And I'm going to say it again. Bring yourself and other people closer to God. Duplicate leaders that you understand, you watch, and you trust. Pretty easy right there. Get involved. Know who your sheriff is. Know what's going on in the elections. Put your time out there to someone in need of your time. Retirement home, the dude down the street that has to walk with a cane, doesn't have a car. Get involved. Local politics, local anything. Make your local area important to you if it's not. Like that football jersey for your favorite football team. Be a good father, a good mother, a good son, etc. Be around like-minded people and get behind these sheriffs. Get behind these. They are normal men and women just like us who need to know that they have support, that we have their back. It is important. And that list is not hard for someone to get in shape, to start on something. If you knit well, then knit somebody that needs a blanket. That's all I got to say about that.
Eddie, did you hear Robbie on Talk Time just a little bit ago
About?
about her son and friends of his? Well, if I may, one of our ladies, Robbie, her son and buddies of him went to the sheriff and said, "We are here if you need us."
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I heard that.
That is
Yes.
absolutely huge. And that sheriff out of Washington State said to those young men, and just, I can't tell you how good that made me feel. I feel 10 foot tall right now, knowing that I've got backing. Thank you so much. And that is what it's all about. Now, what did that do? That in itself created momentum. That is a motor. And now there's the momentum, right? There's no more idle. There is now movement. And I find that to be extremely important. Sheriff, if you need me, I'm here. That's it. And then if it's a bad sheriff, you don't know, right? I used to say a couple of years ago, I jump into foxholes and I'll know if you're friend or foe, right? Kind of a thing. You don't know until you jump in that foxhole. And I'm not saying if you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it, right? But if you're comfortable, then do it, because you don't know. And I'm not saying go in with aggression, mind you. You just don't know. But as long as you are as authentic of a person as you can, and the knowledge level you have, you feel is as correct as it can be, that's all you can be, is who you are as a person. Not what Warren says or Billy says or Eddie says, what you feel necessary to share. If it's true and authentic, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to be repelled by the evil. You'll be repelled by it. And if it is good, then they're going to welcome it. One or the other is going to occur. If you're repelled, you'll feel it, you'll notice it, you'll sense it. Then you move on. But you don't know unless you try, you know?
In our community here, we have our association meets once a month. And the sheriff, the fire department, even the dog catcher in our county precinct elected person, that they show up. And we have talks with each other. So there's so many law enforcement and military retired personnel here in my area, right? Because we kind of secluded off north from the main hustle and bustle of the rest of the county, because we live out in the county. And knowing the patrol commander, the sergeant, we have a community deputy that, you know, we could send him send the deputy a message of whatever, Well, we could call the if it's not emergency, well, we could call the non-emergency number for the sheriff department and we'll get a response, so that's our interaction with the sheriff department. It's very good. We get along very much. Matter of fact, the commander, his last name is Torres, so he calls me uncle.
Cool.
So we and they know who of us are law enforcement and military, and that makes a big difference because they know that if they get into a scuffle here in this area, they know they have our backup, because I'm not going to hesitate. I'm going to go and help. That's number one, so but that's our interaction, and I like that interaction because it's not the guys on top that make things happen. It's the guys at the bottom.
Amen.
And they do it because, one, you have a personal relationship with them. Either they like you or not, most likely, like I tell the community deputy, it says, look, if you're around the house anytime in the morning or anytime during the day, stop by and we'll have some coffee.
Amen.
I'm offering them to come to my house. And, we had several times where our alarm system has gone off and they responded, and okay, we're here. What's going on? Well, nothing's going on. Just the alarm went off because we accidentally opened the door or window with the alarm on, and they're here like that because they know there's so many law enforcement and military that there's not going to be a hesitation if there's a break-in that might be used. That's the way it is.
Amen. That's good stuff. It'd be cool if maybe even tonight, who knows, if there was a really, really important dinner, I'd love to be at it. But with this one person, some of us might know him, some of us might not, having just a one-on-one dinner meeting with President Trump. There's many coalitions out there, and many of those coalitions use people like podcasters to get information out. So if you think that someone's bad, they're saying kooky things, that might not be true. They might be being told to say certain things. I'm not saying anybody's putting out disinformation. I never have been asked to put out any disinformation, and I wouldn't in the first place. So they wouldn't ask me anyways. But anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if let's put it this way. I think it'd be cool if information like Tina Peters came out during that government weaponization, election integrity things. I feel like there's probably a situation where in all these coalitions that are joining together now, in the background, you wouldn't know it's a coalition. You wouldn't know that they have that phone call every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8:00, or that they have a Zoom at this time. But there have been wonderful citizens in many coalitions that have been working behind the scenes organically. The way I look at it is, a long time ago, I guess 10, 12 years ago, there was a huddle up, and they said, now we need someone to work on election integrity. We need someone to work on know everything about the border and organically make that happen. And good citizens stepped up and did it and formed a coalition. And now you probably know them by name, whether it be the America Project, whether it be America First, and there's many, many. Now what I see, or I think it'd be cool, and put it this way, if a lot of them are getting together and using their strengths that each coalition has to work for the good of everyone, whereas some of them didn't even know there was another coalition that existed, and things are operating better because some people can get to Trump. Some people can only get to one of Trump's people. And when you get to one of Trump's guys, whoever you get to, that message does not always get all the way up to Trump. We've known that. We've talked about that on here many times. So I think that would be cool. I also think it would be cool if there was a lot of prosecutions coming because, or just right here on the tail end of Davos, where he said that the 2020 election was rigged right off the bat, put it right out in front of them. I told people I want him to go in there and talk like they are children, like they are kids. And I believe there's a possibility that good things are coming off of this Davos meeting, where if we watched close, we got it. We got the message. Because if you're not getting those messages, that's okay. We've been doing this for a long time. On the front of some of these, where before our show starts, it's got General Flynn on there. So for anybody that doesn't know this, a long time ago, he started talking about digital soldiers. And a lot of people took that to heart and said, okay, well, I'm going to make America great again, the best I can do. Some people came in earlier or later. And what I think most of them did is they had subjects that they knew a lot about, and they started putting it out. Some had a really big agenda. They knew a lot and wanted to get it out. Some people just wanted to be on a show, you know. But if you don't, you know, if you don't really feel what somebody's talking about, that's okay. Go to the next one. Vet them. Grade them. For me, if I say something wrong, I want to know it so I can apologize and go on about my business and do better next time. And I hope everybody else is okay with that. Egos come out. You can't tell me nothing. That's okay. That's okay. Maybe that'll change. Just know that we're all in it together. Big things are going on behind the scenes. We are okay. And I expect big things to happen in the very near future. Absolutely.
And it's not going to take an administration to be able to fix this. It's too big. If it could be, I don't want to say as simple as, if Pam Bondi could be successful, she would have already been implementing these arrests. If it was going to be successful, Kash Patel would have been able to divulge the information that he may or may not have. It's almost showing us what situations that they were put into. And I think it was you, Eddie, that was explaining that a little bit better than I. Was that correct? That you were talking about the bureaucracies? If you don't mind piggybacking.
Okay, in that case, okay, like for example, Kash Patel, he was on our show. He's been all over, you know, you name it. He's been there before he got selected to be the director of the FBI. He worked for Senator Nunes, right? California, when they were doing all that investigation. Yes, you're looking a small staff of people, okay? I only answer to him, to the senator. And to the people that I work with. Now, he's in an organization that has 39,000 people. There's a big, and he's the outsider. He's the one that maybe a lot of them have heard him talk all that he said, that heard everything that he said. And a lot of people are like, no. So now he's into the bureaucracy and he's in charge of it. Okay? That's a different monster than saying, Bill, you work by yourself, and Warren has his business and his crew is 10, 20 people. I don't know. I'm just making an example. That's easy. But now you have a whole bunch of more people. Now you got to try to get all those people motivated to follow what you're saying in order to get it done. And if we're looking at the bureaucracy, because that's the big, fat, slow-moving slug that it is, right? They're going to say, that's the only thing I got to do is just wait them out. Wait the administration out. Wait the director out. Wait the DOJ, the same thing in the DOJ, all that stuff, you know? So that's what he's running into. Even though there's certain amount of progress that's being made that's visible, you know, like the thing that happened this past Sunday at the church. Boom, they got arrested. That's quick. That's quick. So you're seeing something being done, but on the other stuff, that takes a little bit longer, because now you're saying, everybody says, well, everything was turned. You said that you had everything, that you saw everything. Okay, now you got to go through the litmus test of the lawyer side of how the system works. Okay, and it works very slow. Trust me, it works very slow. You know, the only thing that by law they have to do, if a person gets arrested federally, within 72 hours they have to be up in front of a judge, arraigned whatever charge it is. That's it. And then to place bail or bond, whatever, you go to jail, none, or whatever the case might be. All right. So that's the only thing that works real fast. But other than that, everything else works slow, because you have to meet the criteria. You have to go through all of the litany test of everything. And if you have multiple defendants in any case, like, for example, a RICO case, now all of that has to be by time included there. And all those people, where did these people come in? Where this he's in charge? Why so and so and so on? And you know, you're looking at the tentacles going out. So you now got to bring everything back to be able to chronologically put it in a way that the judge say, okay, or grand jury.
And you're not going to have the FBI do their own investigations. You're not going to have the DOJ, you know, they can't. It's got to be from another source. And I believe that's through the military.
No, the other source is the Inspector General.
Right.
They have a Office of Professionalism that technically everybody hates them and they hate everybody for that reason. So it's a mutual disagreement. So they investigate when there's wrongdoing from the officers or agents, whatever the case may be. So that's what they call internal affair. Now, one thing that people need to remember, okay, let me make this super clear. What's going on, it's not what happens in Law and Order, okay? That you have the crime, you have the investigation, you have the trial and conviction in 1 hour. It doesn't happen that way. You got to forget about that. It doesn't work that way.
Gotcha. Yeah. Amen. Amen. A whistleblower has come forward with internal documents from Sequoia obtained through a whistleblower with direct links to Sequoia, Smartmatic, and Dominion. And this person plans on having a show about these things that are going on, where many documents have been given by a few whistleblowers, and it's going to be some big stuff. And we hope to bring attention to it, because public opinion means so much in all of this stuff that's going on. Also, there's a big meeting going on in March, and it is different than a lot of your meetings, or let's say rallies. You know, talk about rallies. Well, you know, you've got Clay Clark, who's had big, good, cool rallies. We've had really great rallies with a lot of attendance. So many people. Louis Herms has had many. By the way, keep in touch with, keep up with Louis Herms. He's going to be bringing something out in the near future, and I'd like for everybody to know about it. It's might shed some light on a lot of things. It'd be cool if it did, anyways. But just know that a lot of these things are coming out, and that because what is it? Public opinion, the shaping of public opinion, and let's say disseminating information about elections is extremely important for people to know their vulnerabilities. And in my opinion, there will be new standards, new little things that are happening that will maybe after you, who knows, maybe after you sign your ballot, after you've done it, maybe you have to look at it and make sure it's okay and push a button or something and say it's okay, or put your name on it or something. There's a lot of things a lot of really smart people have been looking at that are going to come up in the near future. There's a lot of people that don't really get into elections, and that's okay. That's okay. You might like looking at other things, but whether it's for right now or whether it's for the future, if we think we're not going to vote, then you maybe ought to look into that a little bit. If you think that all has failed, you know, I don't agree with that. I think no one can take the fight out of somebody except for you if you let someone tell you that and believe it. So be able to discern things yourself. You might get, somebody might say something doesn't make any sense, but other things are great. Other things are great. It's okay. You get to pick and choose. So we've got things going on all over the world. And I've always thought that you're going to see military spread around their borders. And a lot of people are going to be saying, well, is that military there to keep people out? Or is it to not let people escape? Because in this world for years, maybe 50 years, each country has had a cabal that has risen up in each country. And for a long time, in my opinion, normal citizens and good people have been trying to get the cabal out of their country. And once they've done all they can do and they've failed or they've done okay or whatever, that I believe other big countries will be helping them. And I'm going to call that part of what we call Nasara Gasara, but you will not necessarily hear that word from President Trump or whatever. It's a word, I believe, that made it to where when we're speaking of what we call Nasara Gasara, has to do with being sovereign, has to do with God's law, has to do with taxes, with birth certificates, with a lot of different things that we can just say Nasara Gasara and we know what we're talking about. Some people that are new might not, but it might be worth understanding what that's about. If you don't know about it, I'm sure someone wherever you talk about these things can tell you, or come hang out with us at join.patriotsuit.com. Edward, I'd love to know what your thoughts are as of now about, earlier I said Venezuela, Iran, Mexico, they're all kind of intertwined together. I'd like to know what your thoughts are about anything special going on in those regions.
Right now, I could tell you, funny that you bring that up, because the president Petro of Colombia has denied, just like Judah denied Christ, he denied Maduro. That when I said, like, what? And it happens that, if I understand the story right, that Pietro raised one of Maduro's kids and is the godfather of one of Maduro's kids. Okay. So he's now denying, I never liked the guy. I don't want to be nothing. I don't want nothing to do with this. Okay. That's one of them. The other thing in Mexico is that there was a certain exchange, like it was last year, that Mexico provided something like 27 narco traffickers from the cartels to the United States. There was another exchange here not too long ago, about a week or two ago, that happened about a week ago. Also about 20 something, and everybody is up. The government is up in roar because of the exchange, because Trump is putting so much pressure on Sheinbaum to get these cartels out. The other thing is that a C-130, a U.S. C-130, was flown into Tamaulipas in Mexico, that's central Mexico, to pick up these individuals. And the government, the Congress and senators and all that were in uproar because, hey, what this aircraft is doing here is the invasion already starting? And it all was the exchange. There has been the past president, Vicente Fox, has called for Sheinbaum to start cooperating with the United States. So there, she's in a hard place because she was put there by the cartels. You know, one of the most powerful cartels is the Sinaloa cartel. So they say that she was put into the presidency by them. Also, my understanding is that Venezuela also provided money for Sheinbaum's campaign. Then another thing, which I found it strange, but it is possible, that the U.S. is going to create a buffer zone to be patrolled by the military. But here's the catch. The buffer zone is inside Mexico, which I thought, wow, that's strange. We'll do it on our side, like we have right now, but what I heard was they're going to do it on the inside of Mexico, on Mexican territory, along the border. That's going to be the buffer zone. There's also other things that the Border Patrol is shooting down the what do you call those things?
Drones.
The drones carrying drugs. They have specialized, I don't know if it's specialized or just shooting it with a shotgun with birdshot, double-aught buck, and taking them down. You know, so that right there is going on. Cuba is starting to hurt really bad because the only oil that they're receiving is from Mexico, and it's only enough to operate the whole country for a day and a half if they were to put it, distribute it out to the whole country. But what they're doing is keeping everybody in the dark, just using it for the elites, for the government, and for the military now that they're prepared, because there's the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier that's 60 miles north of Cuba, and they're in panic. And then the other one, this one is coming from Iran. This happened January 7th. I just found out about it. Dubai confiscated stolen dollars check this out. Stolen dollars that were being carried by three Iranians and one Iranian diplomat. They were coming into Dubai in a private jet. They had $17 billion in that plane. That happened on January 7th.
And they were coming into the U.S. Is that what you said?
No, they were in Dubai,
Okay.
and that's where it was found, but they were going into Europe to exchange it for euros.
Okay. Yep.
So
17.
So yeah, there you go, 17. I didn't even think about it until you mentioned it. 17 billion. You know, and then another thing too, and I mentioned it at the chat. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, it was reported that he used $42 million, taxpayers' money, to supply Antifa and anti-ICE demonstrations. So, misuse of government funds, boom.
So besides all that, what they're also doing is having a constant barrage of civil unrest and distractions coming at us, you know, designed to divert our focus from everything that it needs to be on. It seems like, you know, everything that you just mentioned, they want to hide everything. They don't want people to know about it. They are. It's critical. It's critical for them that information that you're saying doesn't get out. It's just like it's critical for them not to know about our, you know, let's say Fawngate or different actions that we are taking, different military actions. You know, it's crucial. So we're all trying to hide these things, but one big thing that a lot of people talk about and don't talk about that's associated with everything going on is the core theory that massive public bonds for schools and things are being systematically exploited all day, every day. Bonds are being purchased, let's say, of a certain value, let's say 100 million, and then immediately monetized at the Federal Reserve window kind of for a much higher amount, like 3 or 4 times that amount, and based on their full value of maturity. And that provides an instant, massive cash influx to their pockets that they can do everything they want to, whether it's move drugs, move money. That's how they operate. A lot of them in the States and probably abroad. Schemes are happening. They're being facilitated by law firms. There's so many law firms that are in this stuff as much as Hillary, you know, all Democrat affiliated, and, you know, unaccredited project managers are like school superintendents and them who are making all this stuff happen. The ones that are supposed to have the oversight from agencies like the SEC and things. So right now we are talking about disbanding of where the IRS has any oversight, like during the Obama years. A lot of big changes are coming right now, just like abroad, like what you're talking about, Edward, whether it be, you know, that's their way of making loot and making money and doing everything, whether it be drugs, women, everything, moving. I mean, they're the hub. These places that you're talking about are the hubs of the bad stuff that's going on. Not all the people there are bad. In fact, many of them are probably just wonderful. And you can attest to that probably better than many of us. So big things are happening everywhere. It's exciting. Sometimes it's sad to hear what has happened. You know, it's like, Dadgum, how can that happen? What could we have done better? Well, we could have woken up, but it's never too late, I think.
We have so much
That's right.
going on in our world and in our nation. Right now, our Western Hemisphere is safe. Right now, and the other day, what I feel finished, the Monroe Doctrine, if you will, you saw the optics of Greenland with the United States of America flag frosting on the cake. To me, that was in representation of, okay, now our Western Hemisphere is clear being no more Russia, no more China influence in South America. When Maduro got out of there, we also got the information on the 2020 election fraud. Not that we needed more information. Maduro, I believe, was more of a, not a kidnapping as much as it was to protect him and his wife.
Well, it was technically a law enforcement operation.
Right.
That's all it was.
Right. Non-military, but it was to protect him, and he's whistleblowing something fierce. But we also have our Treasury Secretary, who is also the chairman of the IRS. The IRS is now a weapon for our Treasury, more so than a tool for, internal revenue service, the way that we always knew it to be. To me, it's a weapon being used to assist our Treasury. We have so many other things. We have the Board of Peace. The Board of Peace, to me, that's JASARA. And that is now, it's an international known entity that's taking out the United Nations. We have so many wonderful things happening that are difficult for people to say, man, there's nothing happening. Well, there's a lot happening.
Yeah. Well, to me, the Board of Peace is the new League of Nations. That's what I see. Yeah, that's the new League of Nations. And the only thing that should come out of all of that is that everybody left alone until you need help, and then we go out and help you.
In order to be a part of it, you have to have peace. So it was huge when Putin put up for it. Not only that, here's $1 billion to help Gaza. I mean, in order.
Well, he turned around and said that they could use the money that they have frozen in Europe for it.
Yeah. Wow.
But does that make you a bad guy? Really? You could use my money that you already have frozen here.
Wow.
That's all I gotta say.
A lot of people talk about, what's going on with China, what's going on with Russia and everything. A lot of people will find out in the near future. Maybe if you believe it, you can understand what ARC is. And in my opinion, it'd be cool if there was a coalition almost called ARC that is America, Russia, and China sharing intelligence. We'll see.
I watch. Just let me add this little thing here about China. You just brought it back up to my attention. I just remember I saw a video of this lady who was analyzing China, and according to her numbers, China is short by 300 million people.
Yes,
they're not as big as they say they are. Because remember that time that they were saying they only could have one child and they prefer it to be a male? Well, guess what? 2, 1, you're short 1. You're not even zeroing your progression, your population up, to replace what's dying, what's sick, whatever. You want to look at it that way. So sorry, that
Good.
that little tidbit right there, just like
I'm
it's
going to
supposed to
say
be
my
1.4
goodbyes,
billion.
boys. It's 26 below zero here, and
No.
I'm going to go put my cold feet on my wife, see if she's awake.
Heads up.
Be careful.
Thank
Be
you.
careful
Thank you,
with that-
Bill.
that-
Always appreciate you being
that-
here, brother.
That
God-
big old
God-
frying pan might come out of somewhere.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah. Well, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
You
Stay
too.
safe.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Good night.
See you later. Thanks. I want everyone to know that there are many things going on behind the scenes. It'd be cool if you start hearing about Chinese elders coming into the picture. The reason they would come into the picture at this point would probably be because Xi has a lot of generals that have been taking people out around him. And I would say the elders are not with it, and they have spoke up, and there are some things in progress that I believe will be on the good side. Getting rid of some of the really, really nasty. Now, China is always going to work for and think of China first. Russia is always going to work for and think of Russia first. We are going to do the same. But just know it's been kind of an unfair balance. They've been, rising in every way possible while lying at the same time, just like Edward was talking about how many people. That's been coming up for a good bit, and that is true as it can be. Some say 300, some say 500. There's a lot, and they do that to pump themselves up, show how big they are while they're expanding and breaking the bank is what they're probably doing. But if the elders are getting involved, then some big things might be changing in the near future, especially for Taiwan. The elders get involved, they will not be going into Taiwan. They will not be doing all that, and we will go on with our, whatever you want to call it, our kingdoms that are going on. If you watch, everyone that we think is kind of going to be like a kingdom, they are all gathering all of the natural resources, claiming their land, forging new people to trade with, finding new ports to go to trade their cargo. And right now in the background, I think that a lot of that is happening. At the same time, you're fixing to see all hell break loose, probably. If you don't, you might not see it and still be there. You might not see it. You might see it and your neighbor not see it. It's okay. There's camouflage everywhere. There's bad people getting in our minds, and good things are in the future, along with some very big things that could scare you, but don't let that happen. Go to the Lord. It's my opinion. What do you think, Edward?
I agree. The things are slowly. Things have to happen in the first year to get your feet wet, to get established, and then from there is a matter of opening the floodgates and let it all happen.
Amen.
And I think that based on how people are reacting, and those up there are reacting and doing stuff, is indicative that something is going to happen. It's going to happen here shortly, or within. We see all the stuff that's going on, and all the troops are saying, "Hey, February," So
yeah. When you start hearing a lot about elders, you know what happens with the elders kind of midway or close to the end of this scenario and what they have to do with everything and what will be happening. So that's a good sign. I haven't heard 2 years. I was hearing a lot about the elders. And just now over the last 3 weeks that now I can say that, some information is going to be coming up about it. And those of you that know, and those of you that don't, we'll figure it out. But there's going to be a revaluation of money. Everyone's going to be revalued in the future. And that's because of what we call Nasara Gasara. And people, citizens, taking back their freedom, their countries. And we've been watching it on TV and in videos forever and say, wow, they're freaking crazy, you know? Well, we're fixing to go through that, I believe. And what that means is we're not, some people call it going 1-to-1, but in my opinion, we're going to be, the United States is going to be worth what the United States is worth in gold, in silver, in natural resources, and oil, and that's your number. And a smaller country will be the same. They will be valued, revalued. So that will tell what their dollar is worth compared to the US dollar. Crypto is big. Crypto will be coming in. It is, I'm not a financial advisor, but all the signs are there that if you have looked at crypto, you're doing good. Thank the Lord that anybody that could got into silver. This is all about what we call Nasara Gasara. Edward, thanks for joining us. Love your input on everything, and always like you be here. I always look forward to hearing you in talk time too.
I enjoy the hell out of it.
Proud of it, and I love your participation and respect what you say. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good
We'll
night.
see you later. All right.
You too.
Bye. Bye. Thanks for joining us. Come holler at us at join.patriotshoot.com. We would love to have you. We want your information. We want your skills. We want to share our skills and our information with you. And we want to all go towards the same goal, which is towards the Lord, which is being a good person, fighting when it's time to fight, and loving when it's time to love. Be good to people. Show a little, let people be them. You just be you and go through your, in my opinion, I'm going to go through my process of ascension, being closer to the Lord, which involves from health to financial stuff to what the heck ever. My life, I want to do better. So I'm going to use this and have been using this as a goal to do better in every way. It would be real cool if somebody, however they wanted to do it, decided they're going to start speaking about the Lord to friends and family that maybe they had never talked to those people about. And wouldn't it be cool if, because of what you said or past things that they've known, if they decided to be baptized, if they decided to confess, if they decided to be a better person and walk with the Lord and have a better relationship with the Lord. There would be nothing better. Do that if you don't have anything else to do. And remember that list. It's not hard to get involved, and it's our duty. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, and bye.